Welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Vocational Education and Training, SOVET, Certificate in Fashion Design, CFDE. BFDI 072 Basics of Pattern Making and Sewing. Block 1 Introduction to Pattern Making. UNIT 2 Tools for Pattern Making 2.0. Introduction. In the previous unit, we discuss about the methods of pattern making. In this unit, we will discuss about the tools for pattern making. Pattern making and sewing techniques is an important course offered in the fashion design program. This unit will acquaint you with various tools as well as terms to be used in the modules, Basics of Pattern Making and Sewing Techniques. This unit will take 2 hours of study, and you may take more time doing all the activities given inside the text. To study this unit, you will need to source various tools described in the first part of the unit. You might already have some of the basic tools like pencil, scale, eraser, needle, thread etc. In addition to tools mentioned in the unit, you will need a notebook to make notes and an A4 size file to keep all samples you make in this unit. 2.1 Objectives. After going through this unit, you will be able to acquaint yourself with the tools required to study the course, Pattern Making and Sewing Techniques. Further, it will help you identify the fabric terms related to pattern cutting, organize the usage of basic terms and principles for the further units. Terminology. It is very important to understand and be well versed with terminology. You must have studied some of these terms in your textile studies course. These terms are very useful for starting the course and further laying and cutting of patterns on the fabric. Pattern making. Pattern making is a system of making patterns, blocks using body measurements. Pattern making can be done either by a two-dimensional method, i.e. drafting, or by means of draping, which is a three-dimensional method. Drafting, flat pattern making. It is a system of making blocks using body measurements on paper. Flat pattern making is a two-dimensional method. It makes use of well-termed basic slopes. These are front bodice, back bodice, sleeve, front skirt and back shirt. Patterns when traced onto fabric, cut and sewn leads to a garment. Draping. Draping is a three-dimensional method of pattern making. Draping proceeds from a flat sketch to draping the fabric directly on the dress form. Muslin. It is a starched and untreated cotton fabric. It is a plain weave fabric available in different weights. It is low cost and is used for making test fits and also for draping. Test fits are commonly known as toiles and are an important step in garment construction. E.g., lightweight muslins, used for soft drapes. Medium-weight muslins, used for draping and testing basic patterns. Heavyweight muslins, used for testing tailored garments like suits and jackets. Selvage. It is the narrow, firmly woven strip on the lengthwise grain edge of the woven fabric. It can be seen very easily on both the lengthwise edges of the fabric. Grain. It states the direction in which the yarn is woven or knit. Lengthwise grain, warp, yarns parallel to selvage are known as warp yarns and the direction is known as lengthwise grain. Most of the garments are cut in this direction. Crosswise grains, weft, yarns perpendicular to selvage are known as weft yarns and the direction is known as crosswise grain. Garments cut in this direction will have more stretch and less strength as compared to warp yarns. Bias grain. Bias grain represents a slanting or diagonal line across the weave of the cloth. A true bias is the angular line that intersects with the lengthwise and crosswise grains at 45-degree angle. Garments or parts of the garment cut on true bias have maximum stretch and easily take the shape of figures, contours. Flares, cowls, and drapes work best when cut on the true bias. A striped fabric where a basic bodice is placed in 3 directions, figure 2. The first bodice indicates the bodice being cut on straight grain, i.e. center front line parallel to the selvage. The second bodice is placed in a way that center front line of the bodice is perpendicular to the selvage and this will result in a bodice cut on cross grain. In the third bodice, the center front line is placed at an angle of 45 degrees to the selvage. This will result in a bodice cut on bias grain. Look at the screen. Figure 2.2. Figure 2.3 demonstrates how the bodices look after stitching. The first bodice cut on straight grain has a good strength. The second bodice cut on cross grain will have lesser strength, some stretchability and will wear off easily with time. The third bodice will have least strength and maximum stretchability. This means it can wear off very easily. A garment cut on bias grain also distorts quickly, in other words they will sag and lose shape from wherever they are stretched. However, garments cut on bias can be used to create interesting patterns. The same can be easily observed on a striped fabric. 1. Take a pause and state why it is important to know and define fabric terms. Before pattern making. 2. Buy 25 centimeters of muslin fabric from the market. Identify and mark the selvage, warp yarns and weft yarns. Try to stretch the fabric parallel to selvage, note what happens. Repeat the same by stretching the fabric perpendicular to selvage and note what happens. Lastly, stretch the fabric diagonally and note the fabric properties. Compare your answer with the one given at the back. 2.3 Tools for pattern making and sewing. Techniques. As all of you must be familiar that to stitch a garment you need a sewing machine and other tools to cut and stitch the fabric. Similarly, for making patterns of a garment, you need some additional tools and materials. Pattern making, PM, and sewing techniques involves the making of patterns, cutting it on fabric and stitching of garments. The entire process involves the use of various tools. The first part of this unit deals with knowing the tools like fabric marking pens, pattern master, scales, French curve, hip curve etc. and understanding their usage. Pencils. Mechanical lead pencils are preferred for making clean, sharp lines on paper. HB 0.5 in soft leather is perfect. You can also use HB pencils, however, take care to sharpen it well before using. Fabric marking pencils. These are special pencils used for marking on fabric and the marks wash away in laundry. Fabric marking pen. This is a special pen used for marking on fabric. The marks fade or wash away in laundry. Tailor's chalk. Used for marking on cloth. It comes in a pack with different colors so as to match with the color of fabric. Light colored chalks should be used for light colored fabrics. Chalk marks disappear easily after washing. Eraser. Any good quality eraser, which does not leave rubbing marks on paper. Rulers. To make straight lines on patterns, you would need various types of rulers. The ruler should contain measurements in inches as well as centimeters. The longest ruler you would need for making patterns is 24 inches plastic ruler and the shortest would be 6 inches. The 12 inches and 6 inches rulers can be in metal or plastic. Pattern master. It is a measuring tool with one side straight and other curved. This is a multi-purpose tool to draw straight lines, perpendicular lines, armhole curves and side seam curves. You can easily get this from a good stationer and in case you can't find it use L scale. French curve or leg curve. L square. It is a wooden or plastic ruler with one side longer than other in the shape of an L letter of English. It is used to draw lines which are at 90 degrees to each other and for marking grain lines. You will read about this term later, on finished patterns. Hip curve. It is a plastic, wooden or metal curved ruler that has curves similar to side seam of our body. It is used for making curved lines on patterns of skirts and pants. It can also be used for making curved hemlines. Leg curve. It is a plastic, wooden or metal curved ruler that has curves similar to side seam of our body. It is used for making curved lines on patterns of skirts and pants. Leg curve has a shallower curve as compared to a hip curve. French curve. It is a plastic curved scale used for making curves of armhole and necklines in patterns. Measuring tape. You all must be familiar with the plastic tape that a tailor uses for measurement. It should be narrow and flexible. It has inches measurements on one side and centimeters on the other. It has a maximum measurement of 60 inches and has metal tips on each end to make it sturdy. This will be required to take body measurements. Straight, awl, pins. These are used for holding the fabric stable on cork table. It is also used for holding the patterns on fabric so that the pattern does not shift while tracing. Take care to use sharp, good quality steel pins. Blunt pins can damage the fabric. Style tape. It is a narrow woven tape to mark style lines on the dress form. It is also used to mark the waistline while taking measurements. Dress form. It is a body form made of specific measurements. They are made in different materials from metal to canvas to paper mache. Dress forms normally come with collapsible shoulders, detachable arms and legs. Dress forms are very important to check the fit and proportions of the garments created. Tracing wheel. It is a pointed wheel with handle. The serrated edge of the small wheel is used for tracing the lines and notches from patterns to the fabric. Sometimes, carbon paper is used along with tracing wheel to transfer lines from paper pattern to fabric. Dot. Notcher. It is a hand tool, which works like a punching machine. It is used to give a small cut or nick, 1/8 of an inch, in outlines of paper patterns. This cut is called a notch. If you have difficulty in sourcing this tool, small scissors can also make equally good cuts. Paper cutter. It is a sharp paper knife for cutting. Scotch tape is a handy device to stick 2 layers of pattern pieces while making adaptations. Glue stick also serves the same purpose of keeping 2 or more layers of papers together. Dot. Paper cutting scissors. You need to buy smaller 6-inch scissors for cutting paper. Keep separate scissors for cutting paper. Fabric cutting scissors. It is a cutting instrument that is 9 to 10 inches in length. The scissors should be sharp and of a good brand, preferably brass-handled one for cutting the fabric. You should also buy one small scissors that is used for clipping or notching the fabric. Keep separate scissors for fabric and paper. Pinking shears. These are used to cut zigzag edges as blades are shaped in the form of zigzag teeth. These are useful for finishing seams and samples as it minimizes fraying. Hand sewing needles. All of you must have seen the hand needles. They are used for finishing the hemlines, for attaching buttons, for other handworks, and for temporary joining of fabric pieces before a final machine stitch is given. Machine needles. Special needles are required for sewing machines. The needle can be thick or thin, again depending on the fabric type. For medium weight cotton, use needle number 90. For cambric you will need 75 and so on. The needles would be different for different machines. For example, for the Juki machine it is advisable to take Oregon brand of needle or Gross-Beckert. For an umbrella machine, which you see with tailors, some other brand of needle would be used. Please check with the shopkeeper before buying. Bobbin and bobbin case. Bobbin case carries the under thread to be fixed in the machine shuttle. Bobbin is a metallic spool, which holds the thread and is fixed into the bobbin case. Thread from the bobbin interlocks with the upper thread of the machine to form a stitch. Thread. Thread should be strong, durable and stretchy. It can be of cotton or polyester. The best ones are spun polyester as they do not break often while stitching and seams come out quite strong. Buy good brands of thread only like Vardhaman and Coats. Thread thickness or the number of thread would vary depending upon the fabric on which it is used. For medium weight cotton use 50s number thread and for top stitching of denim fabric use thicker ones. Seam ripper tool, which is sharp and curved in front for cutting seams open. Use it carefully on for seams open. Use it care to avoid accidental cutting of fabric. Screwdriver, 2 mm, 4 mm. You will need different sizes of screwdrivers to tighten or loosen bobbin case, fix needle to needle bar etc. Forceps. A forceps is a small clipper kind of handheld tool used for threading specialized machines. Sewing machine. Different types of sewing machines are available in the market ranging from hand-operated to treadle to motorized machine. You can find more details about the same in Unit 4 Introduction to Sewing Machines. Pressing equipment. These are of two types, steam iron and dry iron. Pressing plays an important role in the production of a perfectly finished garment. It is required at almost every step of construction and should be done with great care. Press is used for pressing. The fabric before cutting, pressing of seams, for sticking the fusing to the garment pieces like collar, cuffs etc. And for giving a neat look to a finished garment. Use a press cloth, cotton or tissue pieces, on finished garments when using the iron. Some fabrics, especially synthetic or synthetic blends, will shine if you don't use a pressing cloth on top. It is used for ripping seams, which have not come out perfect. It is a small hand pattern making paper. You would need paper of two kinds, heavyweight and medium weight. The first one is usually brownish beige in color and is used for making basic slopers. The second one is softer, like a white chart paper. This is easily folded and yet remains flat when opened. The first paper patterns would be made on softer paper. Once you have finalized your patterns and tested them out for various aspects, the hard paper is used for making basic slopers. The basic slopers are traced out a number of times and should be able to withstand multiple handlings over time. Usually paper would have a shiny and a rough surface. Shiny surfaces are avoided and the rough side is used for making patterns. Patterns should be hung or kept flat on a surface. Folding the patterns is not a good practice as it leaves marks on paper. Carbon paper. Paper coated on one side with wax or chalk. It is used for transferring paper lines onto muslin. Yellow colored carbon paper is preferred. Black color might leave stains in garment. Muslin. Muslin is an untreated grege fabric used for making test fits and first samples while working. It is off-white in color and is available in various weights. 2.4 Summary. This unit makes you aware of basic terminology and various tools required to study basics of pattern making and sewing techniques. Tools are an essential part of the learning process, and buying a good quality complete set will help you in the process. The standard tools can be sourced from any leading stationer or a tailoring shop near you. Important terms like drafting and draping needs to be thoroughly understood. Drafting or flat pattern making is a two-dimensional method of making blocks using body measurements. Draping is a process of creating a form by molding the fabric directly on the dress form. Patterns and fabric go hand in hand, and it is important to understand the related aspects. Fabric plays an important role in the garment sewing process. A fabric is made by interlacement of two sets of yarns, i.e. warp and weft yarns. The fabric end, which is parallel to warp yarns, is referred to as a selvage. Grain line is an important information placed on the pattern pieces. This helps determine the placement of warp or weft yarns on the garment piece. Garments cut on straight grain are stronger and less elastic, while garments cut on cross grain have more stretch, elasticity and little less strength. Garments cut on bias grain give good stretchability to garments. Attention needs to be given to grain line, fiber content, color and weight of the fabric, as all the properties play an important role in garment sewing. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video with next chapter.